Every morning, just as the sun cast its first golden rays over the sleepy park, the old man came. He walked slowly, leaning heavily on his cane, his left knee stiff from a war long forgotten by most. But he came, always came, on the same bench under the wide old oak tree. The bench was made of weathered wood, darkened by time and softened at the edges by years of wind and rain. It bore a small, faded inscription. H+M, inside a heart. He would brush away the fallen leaves, sit down with a sigh, and pull out a small notebook from the inside of his coat. The notebook was frayed and yellowed, its pages filled with shaky handwriting. "Good morning, Margaret," he would begin silently, writing the same line every day. "The bench is a little colder today, the wind is sharper, but I'm still here." Sometimes he would smile at nothing, staring into space as if expecting someone to arrive late. Sometimes he would talk aloud, not loudly, just softly musings, fragments of memory. She always wore blue on Tuesdays. Margaret never liked the squirrels, said they looked too clever. People passed him by, joggers, mothers pushing strollers, students with headphones. Most didn't notice. Some nodded politely. A few regulars smiled, but no one stopped. Until the little girl came. She must have been about 6. Curly hair, pink backpack, and an oversized coat that made her look like a walking marshmallow. She wandered away from her class trip, unnoticed, and plopped down beside him. He blinked in surprise. "Hello," she said, swinging her legs that didn't yet reach the ground. "Well, hello," he replied. "I'm not supposed to talk to strangers, but you look like someone who wouldn't steal me." He chuckled, a deep, rusty sound that hadn't come out in years. "That's quite an assumption." She tilted her head. "What's assumption?" He smiled. "It means you're very brave." She nodded as if that made sense. Then she looked at his notebook. "Are you doing homework?" "No," he said gently. "I'm writing to my wife." "Where is she?" He pointed up. The girl stared at the sky. "Like an astronaut?" He laughed again, the kind that shook his shoulders and watered his eyes. "Something like that." She leaned against his arm, completely at ease. "Can I come back tomorrow?" He hesitated, then nodded. "If you want." She grinned. "Okay," and she did. The next day, she came early, holding a picture book. She waved before even reaching the bench. "I brought a story. Want me to read it to you?" "I'd be honored," the old man said with a mock formal nod. And so it began. Every morning she came to read to him, or to draw, or to chatter about school, her cat, her neighbor's baby, or dreams she couldn't quite remember. He began to write more than just, "Good morning, Margaret. Margaret, today Lily brought a red apple and gave me half. Do you remember our orchard? She wants to be a writer. I think she might. What do you think?" On days she didn't come, due to rain, a cold, or a school event, he left space in his notebook. "No Lily today. The bench feels empty. Margaret, I miss her when she's gone, just like I miss you." She brought him tiny gifts, a drawing of the two of them, a braided bracelet made of yarn, a plastic ring from a cereal box. He kept them all. He, in turn, brought her old toffees wrapped in golden paper, a fountain pen that didn't work, and once a pressed flower from Margaret's garden, still fragrant. One day she asked, "Was Margaret pretty?" He closed his eyes, the memory soft and bright. "She was the color of sunlight." Lily nodded. "Then you're very lucky." He was. Winter crept in, slow and cold. The park grew quiet under frost and snow. Fewer people came, but he still did, until one day, he didn't. Lily came. Waited no one. The next day she came again, still nothing. She left a note taped to the bench. "Dear Mr. Henry, I came. I'll keep coming." She waited each day, bundled in layers, cheeks red from cold. Then one morning, a man in a dark coat approached Lily and her mother at the bench. He held a small wooden box and an envelope. He knelt beside Lily. "Are you Lily?" She nodded. "I'm Mr. Henry's neighbor. He passed away last week in his sleep." Lily said nothing. The man handed her the box. "He left this, said it was for you." Inside was a notebook. The same worn one Henry had written in every day. There was also a letter. "Dear Lily, if you're reading this, I've gone to see Margaret. Don't be sad, sweetheart. I've had a long, beautiful life, and meeting you was one of its brightest chapters. You reminded me that people still care. that laughter still exists, that even an old bench under an older tree can become a bridge between two hearts. Keep writing, Lily. Your voice is warm. Your heart is big. I believe in you. And if you ever come back to this bench, listen closely. On the wind, maybe, just maybe, you'll hear an old man's voice saying, I'm still here. Years passed. Lily grew up, but the bench never left her heart. She returned with her first finished manuscript in her arms, placing it gently on the bench, as though laying flowers. She returned with tears after her mother passed away. She returned with joy when her first book was published. She returned with her son. And eventually she returned with her granddaughter. Now gray-haired, soft-eyed, and wise in the way people only become through both joy and heartbreak, Lily sat on the bench once again. The oak tree beside it was older, broader, its roots more tangled with the soil of decades. Her granddaughter, Eva, perched beside her, curious. Grandma, you always bring me here. Why? Lily placed Henry's old notebook, now carefully kept in a leather case, into Eva's lap. Because this is where stories live. Eva opened it. Inside, pages filled with many handwritings, her own, childish and looping, her mother's, even notes from strangers who had come after reading Lily's book. Is he really still here? Eva asked. Lily smiled and looked up through the whispering leaves. If you listen closely, she said, you can hear the wind telling you stories. Eva closed her eyes. I think I hear it. They sat in silence, 3 generations bound by love, memory, and words. When they left, a breeze stirred the grass. The bench stood quiet, not alone, not forgotten, and never truly empty.